NFL Sunday Ticket and get up to 200 regular season games. Call your local service provider today.
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by Raven Reads. Unbox Indigenous voices. Subscribe today at ravenreads.org.
Join me today with AKI Tours and Bagida'waad Alliance as we explore a unique alvar in Inishaming and Cape Croker Park.
So the red ones are the Indian paintbrush. And you can really see the nice reds that you get. Now, we missed it by about 3 weeks, and this field would have been littered with a whole bunch of these Indian paintbrushes. But we also would have had the yellow lady slipper here too.
That's
so
my favorite.
This would have been just a field of red and yellow about 3 weeks ago. What I like to do when we walk on these trails sometimes is I like to look at the footsteps, So there we probably have a big either a turkey or a sandhill crane. Probably a sandhill crane.
That's big.
For how big his feet are.
Yeah. Yeah, or a pterodactyl rex, no. But yeah, huge when you do a comparison, right?
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be following his pathway too.
Big bird.
This is a trembling aspen, and the way you can see it in the leaves as the wind hits it, how the leaves flutter. And what it's doing is actually, when it flutters like that, it's getting sunlight on both sides of the leaves. So it's utilizing all the leaf to be able to produce the sugars and everything it needs. This alvar is probably around 750 acres, maybe 800 acres. And it's a good chunk of Cape Croker, especially along the middle section of Cape. Like the bottlenose part, if you look at a map of it, we're kind of in the bottleneck area.
Right, and the part that I'm in awe of that I really haven't had much exposure to is the uniqueness of the alvar and the specific plants that just live here. That's the part that it's just unique. It's an awe moment, and having Chris here as a guide has been fabulous coming through here. So now we're at the shoreline of the alvar. So everything kind of was dragged this way. Is that why it's so sparse in the alvar? Yeah, so if you're kind of looking at it from a topographic map, you kind of see how we canteen from where we started in our parking lot area at the beginning, and it just slowly goes down, and that's where all the runoff kind of drains through. Like here in the early spring, April, this is like a big giant sponge. It's all the peat moss just absorbs all the water, it just holds it. And then later on in the year with that gentle canteen, it all flows away, and to the point we are today now where the trail is pretty well dried out. We do have a few little puddles here and there, but yeah, it's just unique in how it turns into like the swampy marshlands and now almost like a grassland desert. And it is, and it's surrounded by the escarpment. And you had named the different cliffs that, which was new to me. Jones was one of them. Which is kind of in the center of the community. We also have Sydney Bay Bluff, which is just over here on our point. We'll be able to see more. And Kings Point, which is just out of our view from here. But yeah, we have three bluffs that kind of make up Cape and the area around. So approximately how many kilometers would it be to come into the location that we're at right now from where we parked? So for right now, from the parking lot to this point, we're probably looking at about
1.8K, almost 2K. So it's not a very long walk, but it can get a little tiring.
No, actually, it wasn't bad. And it's a very easy hike in. It's not, it's a very smooth terrain that we crossed. Now, how many different types of groups have you brought in here?
So we brought in a group from the University of Toronto, a group of students and their staff as well. And we brought them here as kind of their first day to kind of get a grasp of what we do here for Aki tours and the guiding, and kind of get a gauge as well for them to see if they're ready for the bigger hikes that we have.
Right.
So yeah, this one is very gentle, like you said, very gentle. It's not a very hard trail to do, other than in the springtime when it gets real muddy and stuff. But right now it's perfect. It's that kind of real nice flat terrain, not too many puddles, and
yeah, it was a very easy walk in. Now, when you do your private tours, approximately, what's the maximum size of group that you bring in?
So I asked for a minimum of about 2 people to be in these tours, but I can take, by myself, I'll take 5. And then if we do have a larger group, I will bring my younger brother Mingam with me as the sweeper, and then we can go up to something of 10 to 12 people. So
okay,
yeah.
And you had also mentioned that you're looking into some larger ecotourism tours with some camping. So that really sounds thrilling to me, because having a guide it's the only way to do it, because you've brought us to so many unique spots here. So I'm looking forward to the next hike on the boardwalk at the Cape Rocco Park.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely take a venture over there and check all the new plants out on that side.
Great, looking forward to it. I never imagined the beauty of this area. Chris wanted to show us just one more feature of the Alvar.
So yeah, this area I kind of like to showcase people because of, you can see that canteen from here, but also you can kind of get a feel for what the peninsula looks like. Because if you think of this area here as Lake Huron, so we're on the bitter end of the glacier right now. We weren't on the part that was forced up like the side that we are on now. So I kind of do that where pretend this is Lake Huron, and then you want to imagine the escarpment. So then the more we go east, the higher it raises up, and then we get the bluffs and all that. So
very good example. Very good.
I just like to showcase that to people and be like, yeah, that's how the glacier kind of came across and forced up everything.
And it does. I cannot get over the difference between this shoreline that we can see over the Alvar compared to where we were with all the fractured rock on the other side.
Yeah, and
of
not
Georgia
even
Bay.
Not even too far away. It just changes that quick, and
it's beautiful.
And this side from the other side of Neoshaming too is different. Over on the other side, we get a lot more of the beach rock and stuff. So we get those larger rounded rocks on our side. Right. Compared to here, you can see we get the sharp, jagged shale and
it's so
flat
calm.
rock. Yeah.
So calm.
And there's a lot of birds that like to hang out here. I know we missed out on the sandhill crane, but he likes to be down here, and we get quite a few little ducks that come around.
Well, it's ideal for them. Like, it's their own little secluded
little vacation spot for them. Yeah,
it is.
And also this area too it's a very great place for migratory birds. They like to use this area as a little pit stop, because next stop is Cabot Head, which is that far point of land that's way over there, and before they make that jump across Georgian Bay and Lake Huron to the mainland, or the northern part of Ontario. Now
to our left, which would be to the west, this is which bay?
So this is Sydney Bay.
Sydney
here.
Bay, okay. And
or if you want to encapsulate it all, this kind of with the island and Cape, this whole water section would be known as Malville Sound.
Malville Sound, okay.
Yeah, so this whole little bit of body of water from that point, and then to the point of Cape is Malville Sound. We get Sydney Bay, and then on the other side of that, we get our Hope Bay,
Right.
which is over there.
Which is around the corner. And then the very furthest point
Yes,
is...
that very far one, that's Cabot Head up over there.
That's Cabot Head, really?
Yep.
I would have never thought that because I would have assumed it was over more westerly, but...
No, it
Wow.
pokes out just, Cape is out from the peninsula a little bit. If you look at it through the map, or through a map.
Right.
And we're kind of right at that sweet section where we can kind of start seeing all of Cabot Head, like, especially when you're up on Jones's Bluff, there's a little lookout over there. And you can really start seeing the the curves in the land and how it kind of goes around.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Amazing. It's beautiful here, just beautiful.
I'm a singer-songwriter from Six Nations, and I've been writing songs about my experience, and with that being said, it's helped me hold hope in my heart in following my dreams and being resilient to everyday Indigenous battles. Competition between spirit, earth, and wind, let me tell you now. This song in particular, The Shiner, is a special song that I wrote for my grandfather. He was a snow snake maker, and that is a Haudenosaunee winter sport. It's my job to educate and to share, and the music allows me to do that. He'll be shining snow snakes and mud cats to the end of his days.
Hi, I'm Dave Carr. Next time on Politically Speaking, the municipal clerks of Owen Sound, Meaford, and Georgian Bluffs. We're having mayoralty debates, but let's talk about the process of voting on Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
So we're back at the park boardwalk here again, and we're kind of at the entranceway, and for us we got this nice little sign of invasive species that we're trying to keep away from here. But yeah, if all of us could just
Use the boot.
brush our...
The boot brush?
Yeah. And then we will continue onward. But yeah, you can see on our list we got the good old mustard greens, common buckthorn, and the spotted...
Knapweed. Ooh.
Yes. So yeah, we always come to this, we always call it the boardwalk, but it's known as the Snake Trail Boardwalk.
Snake Trail Boardwalk.
And yet we haven't seen any snakes on it.
Is it because it curves around?
Yeah, it might be that too, yeah. This tree here that we're coming to is an ash, but more importantly, this is a black ash. So you can see how the leaves and the stem almost touch, and there's no little stem in between them. So you can see for this, like this beech has that stem from the leaf to the main branch.
Right.
And then if you look at the ash, it doesn't have that at all. It's
Right.
almost leaf to stem.
Leaf to stem.
That's how you know what a black ash and a white ash is. White ash will have just a very small little stem on it, just to give it that little difference.
Now, is black ash, is that common here?
So after the beetle went through that emerald borer ash, or emerald ash, yeah, it kind of devastated a lot of our trees here in this area. But since they're having such a hard time, the trees have recognized that, and what they have done is now they've released a whole bunch of seeds and a whole bunch of nutrients back into the soil. And now you can see all these little black ashes that are popping up all over the place that are trying to help with the ones that have died and been taken out. So we have like this big explosion of ash on Cape, or Neoshinaming here. So yeah, this is all new. And black ash for us, we use that to make baskets out of.
Oh.
So yeah, it's a very flexible material to use. And Yeah, I actually have a big black ash basket back at home.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So this section that we've just kind of hung a left off of the Bruce Trail, tell us about the Beaver Pond here.
Yeah, so just recently we came down for a hike a few days ago, and we actually got to witness the mother beaver here, and we actually got to listen to her offspring, which is actually in that lodge right in front of us. And this, I'm not sure how long this has been here for, but it's quite a vast area. Like, it covers close to probably 25 acres of land that he's mounted up, and
He has
well, generations, I guess. Like, yeah.
definitely generations. Really interesting water snake that's over there on curled up sunbathing, and I believe a painted turtle splashed into the water when we first arrived here. So
Yes.
I guess we should have maybe approached it a little quieter, so we could have seen them. But amazing how the regen has come up, and the grasses are very well established. So Mr. Beaver's been here
For quite a long time.
for quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice to see in its natural state.
Yeah, and then you can see just how much he uses this. Like, he comes up here.
I think he hangs out on the boardwalk.
Yeah. A little dry spot for him to be.
Yeah, sunbathe maybe. Yeah, or get away from his kids. One or
Oh
the
yeah,
other.
that too, yeah.
Yeah, could be. Okay,
Anyway.
we'll go to the next spot and see
Yeah.
in Sydney Bay.
Okay.
Wonderful. So Chris, you have taken us this far, which is an absolute fabulous view of the bay that we have now, but this is still part of the Bruce Trail?
The Bruce Trail, yeah.
Okay.
This is a little side trail off of it. The main trail is still probably a kilometer. Well, actually, it's a little bit further up. It's near a main road and kind of cuts away from the community. But yeah, anyways, yeah, Bruce Trail came here. They maintain this trail. They watch over it year round, and yeah, it's kind of open to all of us, the community members, and those who all stay here. And
Oh, as part of the park, because
park as well,
we
yeah.
are here at Cape Croker Park now, which
yes.
is definitely a great trail to hike on. What we're standing in right now has just been constructed by the Bruce Trail, am I correct? Or
Yes, so yeah, anything they maintain or build, yeah, and they do themselves, and yeah, and they've just finished this about, God, it must have been about last week or so.
Oh, well, lucky
Yeah,
for
very
us. Yeah, lucky for us to come across this. It's been an amazing journey. I've definitely enjoyed the Beaver Pond and all the different species that Chris has identified coming through here. The huge, enormous horsetail, which I think is on steroids. I really do. But we had some great visuals at the Beaver Pond, the water snakes that were curled up.
Yes.
And we were really fortunate on listening to the baby beaver talking to their parents.
Yeah.
I have never heard that before. So truly an inspirational coming on this side of the trail. I can't thank you enough for taking us on this wonderful journey today. How can people get in touch with you again, just if they want to get a personal hike tour by you?
So for my tours, we ask that either you go visit our website that we have. It's called Bagida'waad.com, and under it is there's a tab known as experiences, and you can go in there and contact us through that way. Or you can directly go to our email, which is christopher.akitours@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'll get that right away and be able to hand over a package that we have ready for people to take a look at and glance through.
Right. So when you get back in touch with them, then you kind of instruct them on what they need to bring, just so then they're hike ready. I know today we're well equipped with hiking shoes and proper pants and bug spray, because that's a must, sunscreen, because we were out on the Alvars. But you provide a list then of what's kind of required when they come hiking?
Yeah, so when I send out usually that little package of information, it'll have all the stuff that they'll need with them. So good footwear, proper clothing for the day, so rain or shine. And then also to pack a snack, lunch with them, bring lots of water.
Yes.
That's always important to have with you. And just anything that kind of makes them feel more engaged with the activity, I guess. So if they have like a camera that they really like to bring out and showcase, or they really want to follow along, then that's fine too. And
Wonderful.
yeah, just
Well, it's definitely, I would definitely bring a camera. I would bring my camera the next time I come here to do a hike with you. Hiking with Chris is very informative, and I love how you bring in the stories that come with your culture, with what we have seen today. It's been very moving and very grounding. I have certainly enjoyed today's experience with you. We are going to talk next with Chris's mom. She has actually started a very unique alliance group that is starting to gain great traction and a huge following on Facebook, so stay tuned. So you have been watching the show so far, and these two lovely ladies have been following us. We've kind of dragged them everywhere today. They've been swatting mosquitoes in this last little section that we've done, but they're here with us today because Natasha Akawenzi has started a very unique alliance group. Now, I know I'm going to trip when I say this, but I'm going to say Bagida'waad Alliance. Yay! I said it correctly. I'm trying. So you have started this wonderful initiative, and I have been following you on Facebook. I have to admit, I've kind of creeped you a bit, but I took part in one of the sessions that you had, and it was very informative, and I absolutely loved it. So now I'm hooked. So how did this actually start, and how you came up with Bagida'waad name, which is a fabulous name?
So back in 2018, my husband and I, we used to run a fishing business. For 15 years, we ran a fishing business. And my husband used to fish and catch his own, and we used to process it, and we take it down to markets, sometimes Owen Sound, but most of the time it was like Dufferin or Richwood,
Right.
or somewhere down in Toronto, in the heart of the city. And we noticed a decline of the whitefish, a very steep decline. Once upon a time, we used to be able to catch like 30, 35 whitefish. And when we stopped, it was down to one whitefish, maybe two.
Wow.
So we wanted to bring attention to climate change and the decline of the whitefish. And that's how Bagida'waad was formed. Well, that's a very short version. The little addition to that was there was a grant that came out. And I needed to be able to summarize climate change, but from the land point of view, not from the water point of view, which I had seen what it was doing on the water, as in no ice and the storms coming up faster, storms not being in the forecast. And just really strange things happening out there, water temperature going up, etc. Fish populations changing. So we wanted to apply for, oh my goodness, what is that thing called? Windsock in a weather station. So my husband could actually predict his own weather, because the forecast was very incorrect a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And his life depends on it being accurate. So I needed to summarize climate change from the land point of view, as in flooding, as in how the land would see it. And so I was forwarded by a friend to Victoria, who I was told was a climate change person.
So Victoria is Mrs. Climate Change. But you've brought a wealth of information to the Alliance as well in assisting getting it set up.
Yeah, I'm a little of a not-for-profit starter. I guess
Wonderful.
is probably the simplest way of putting it. So I love helping groups get started and get going. But I also really believe that raising Indigenous voices on climate change is about the most important thing that can be done. And so that's what we do, basically, and really help people connect to nature.
Yes, and the speaker series that you've been putting together has just been so educational. The one that I took part in, I had no idea that there was a movement in stopping animals or having animals in captivity for performing and educational purposes, etc. So that was a huge eye-opener for myself watching it. But you've done a lot of neat things too here in the community. You're teaching language.
Oh yeah, I'm not teaching it, but we're providing lessons for an elder to do an immersive language class. So he speaks, a group of them speak in the language for an hour. 90% of the class is in the language, and it's wonderful. So you can sit there, you can hear the cadence of the language, you can hear how it's used in everyday things. So they talk about different things, like as in food, as in family, different topics every week. I know they made scone one week, which caused a lot of laughter. They played charades one week, which caused a huge amount of laughter. They really enjoyed themselves doing that. So we try to put a lot of fun into what we do and make it educational, but not overwhelmingly heavy. It's a little bit of laughter, a lot of fun, sharing stories. And then, making it open to everybody, like the language class is open to anybody who's interested in. And if you miss the class, it's great. We put it right to YouTube. So you can go back and you can listen to the classes you've missed, or if you can't participate on Tuesday night, that's fine. If you can do it Sunday nights, you can just jump on YouTube and check out what we've been up to.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Now, another event that you had here, which I wish I had lived closer to kind of even just to have a peek at, you had a Sown youth group and a big canoe trip, getting people back on the water, which looked like an absolute blast.
Yes, we were really lucky. We literally launched it here at the park the first time. So we had a little campfire, we had a meal, we did this hike with an elder. So he was able to share stories in some of the language along this route. Mm-hmm. And then we had a little campfire, and we loaded everybody into the big canoe, and we literally paddled around here, saw the egrets and saw some other mergansers and what have you. And we went out towards the Alva, which you guys were lucky enough to visit today. So we headed that way. We didn't make it all that way, but we hope to do that every week. This past Sunday, we did it on the Saugeen River. So we loaded everybody into the amphitheater at the location, and then we went up the river a little bit, and we went down the river a little bit, and then called it an evening. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, a lot of bonding time, and a chance for an elder to share some of the stories of the area, and for the youth to be able to sit and listen, and also work as a team to do this event, because canoeing is teamwork.
I had a wonderful experience with Tom on the big canoe trip as well. So he's a great guide, a wonderful guide. But I'm glad to see that he was able to accommodate you guys here and as well as on the Saugeen River. How can people get involved and see what you're doing? Do you have a web page or a Facebook page?
So yes, we have a web page. It's bagida'waad.ca, I think.
Could you spell Bagida'waad?
Sure, of course. It's BAGIDA apostrophe WAAD, and then Alliance.
Alliance.
And on our social media, it's just Bagida'waad.
Okay, and I have to ask, what does Bagida'waad mean?
They set a net in our language, in Anishinaabe.
They set a net. Oh, what a wonderful way. Yeah, that kind of captures it all, doesn't it?
It does. And that's with the net, we're hoping to be able to capture like the youth, our age people, and then further on.
And further on.
And then able to gather all that knowledge and share it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I thank you, ladies, for accompanying us today. It has been an absolute blast. And I thank you, our viewers, as well, for joining us today. And we will see you again next time on Wandering Grey Bruce.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.